Hi, I'm Claire from playHOORAY, and today I'd like to share with you the things that I think are essential for getting started doing messy play and sensory play with your babies or your young children. So I've written a list, I've got my notes and a cup of tea, and I'm just going to talk through them. So you might need to get a pen, a bit of paper, and just make some notes of the things that I'm going to say. There's quite a lot on here. Okay, so just to get started, I think the best thing you can do is start collecting things. You'll notice that particularly, it's mainly your recycling box to be honest, but I collect things like yogurt pots, boxes, corks, lids, anything like that. Anything that you can use that the children can fill up, empty, make collections of. So the little bottle tops, you know, like you get on top of the puree, anything like that, you can make little sets. Now the way I do it is I have a little box in the cupboard under the sink. And in there, whenever I have these things, I just chuck it in and sort it later. Because if you're anything like me, you're always busy and you haven't got time to have all different boxes and organising. Not the most organised person. So I find that that works for me. You might have a different system. But I just find chucking it in there, it soon mounds up actually. And you soon find you've got quite a big collection. And then I sort them into Ziploc bags and little boxes and things. So I have them handy for when I need to use them with Mason. There are a few things that actually you could look out for and start buying. So I think some of the main toys that I find useful for Mason are little people. I find those really great, particularly like the Happy Land set. They're a nice size. They're still quite chunky. I find the Lego men are still a bit small and pieces come off. So like the Happy Land style people, they're really great for the kids to grip with. Vehicles, anything that moves, aeroplanes, diggers, cars, you only need a few of them, and you find that I use them quite a lot in loads of different types of play. And plastic food or wooden food. I must admit, I know wooden toys look really lovely, but if you're anything like me and you're wanting to do more messy play and the sensory play, by getting the plastic ones, it means that they can go in water, they can go into squirty cream, they can go in anything, and you can just rinse them off afterwards and it's fine. Whereas I'm always a bit worried about damaging the lovely wooden stuff. So that's just something to bear in mind. And then animals, loads of plastic animals. We got a box for about a £5 on Gumtree, and I think it had over 50 different types of animals. Again, loads of different sizes, which were great for when they're a bit older and they're wanting to start sorting them. So they're the kind of toys really I'd particularly look for. Or you never know when you first have children and people asking what they can buy you, they're the kind of things to ask for. So that's a good idea. And then if you're wanting to get started, there are a couple of things that I really suggest that you buy. You may have seen when I work with Mace, I use a great big black Tough Spot. It's a big black tray. It's about 1 metre wide, so it is a good size and they're quite a good weight. But I found that a real investment. I get asked a lot where I get those from. So you can get them from B&Q for about £18, or you can get them on Amazon, and I think they're roughly about the same price and normally include free delivery. They are a size, so you can either stick it under the sofa, stick it behind the sofa, or I actually store ours in the garden because it's like quite a heavy, durable plastic. They're really great. When you're looking to buy them, they're known as Tough Spots, or they're known as Builder's cement mixing trays, and they're the best thing to look out for because then you're getting the real deal. Whereas if you put in Tough Spot, you might end up paying a little bit more. You can get stands for them. They're quite expensive really. We don't have one. We just use an IKEA coffee table, just one of the basic little tables. I find sitting on that, and actually there's a little shelf underneath, so I can put the boxes underneath, so we can just tidy up the resources. Or we've got, I've even put it on bricks before, or on books or whatever, or just have it on the floor. Sometimes if you have a carpet, we're quite lucky we have wooden floor everywhere, but if you have a carpet, maybe put a plastic tablecloth underneath the Tough Spot just for any spillages. They are big and they are bulky, but I think they're definitely worth it. We use our Tough Spot every day. I use it for water play, sand play, messy play, painting, cooking. I even do cooking in there. It just contains a mess. And you find with little ones as well, if you set up an area the boundary of the tuff spot actually helps them to contain everything. I don't know if you've set something up before and you find it gets strewn across the house and they carry it off with them. I actually find that whenever I put something in the tuff spot, Mason seems to keep it in there. So that's a little tip for you. But yeah, definitely something like that. If that's too big for you, if that's too big for your place, something like under the bed storage box, nice and clear, comes with a big lid on. You can get them for £3 or £4 these days. Really great. I also use those for storage for some of our resources. But I find that using those, I'll quite often use that for a water tray for Mason. I like it because it's clear, particularly if I'm putting colour water in. It's really effective. It's quite inviting for him to play in, and I will actually sit that inside the tuff spot just to try and contain the mess. So there are a couple of things you could use. Again, if that's still too big, go in the bath, empty out the bath or the shower tray, that's brilliant. Or even just a baking tray, something like that is fine. I think they'd be ideal. And IKEA do a plastic, it's like a clear white tray for £1. And I found that really good actually whenever I've been presenting Mason with some activities. Okay, and then another thing I want to suggest for getting started for messy play is just sorting out your storage. Maybe have a cupboard dedicated to it, because you will find that you have a lot of stuff if you're anything like me and starting to collect lots of bits and pieces. So I'd have an area that you could store it all in. I get boxes mainly from the pound shop, the clear shoe boxes, one so you can see what's in them, but two, it's just helpful. Yeah, sometimes I use the actual boxes with Mason for activities. But by having things to hand, I find then if Mason's busy playing, I think, oh, do you know what, that'd be really great to add to his play. I can run to the cupboard, grab it and bring it out, put it in without disrupting his play, and it actually enhances it. So that might be worth an idea. See if there's somewhere that you could actually dedicate storing the resources, preferably away from their toys that they have access to. Otherwise, it would just be a nightmare if it all got mixed up together. That's up to you. And then there are a few things I've written and thought about for if you are out and about in the pound shops, in the cheap shops, things to look out for, things to collect, things like scoops and spoons and tongs, loads of stuff in the kitchen department. That's always brilliant. I always end up getting loads there. Spray bottles are really good for little hands to use and great for outside. Brushes, sponges, and then anything that you might find in the art department. I use pom-poms a lot. You'll see I've used those a lot with my activities. And pipe cleaners and bits and pieces like that. I'm always looking for golf tees, but I never really see them. I once saw them in Aldi, but again, you can get those on Amazon. I use golf tees a lot for the hammering and with his tools and things. And then I'd also suggest that you get some food colouring, as many colours as you can really. I just have the main colours: red, green, blue, yellow, purple, orange, pink maybe. It's handy to have those for dyeing pasta, dyeing cereal, or even dyeing Play-Doh, or even just putting them in the water. It's amazing the reaction I get when I put colour water out for Mason. He loves it, but water play is a big thing in our house. And then just a few other things that you might have. You probably have them in the cupboard, but it's worth, when you're doing the food shop, of getting them extra, and then you've got them there for the play. Things like cereal, rice, pasta, spaghetti or noodles, they're a really lovely one. And then a couple of things that are our favourite that I highly recommend. Sparkling water, you can get bottles of that for, I think it's about 17-19p in Aldi. Bottles of sparkling water instead of water is really lovely. The bubbles, the sensation, hearing it pop in, the kids love it. Really nice. So it's worth just getting a couple of bottles of those in. And then finally, I'd say the rainbow puffs. It's like a retro sweet. I don't even know what they're made of, but packets of those. They're really bright colours. They're really inviting, and the kids just love them. And you're not gonna have any trouble entertaining them if you empty a few bags of those with some spoons and some pots. They'll be busy. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. I think that's quite enough for today.